name is Dr. Keonna White. I've served in the educational field for over 20 years now. My work has been a vehicle to foster connection and help me to learn more about myself. I've lived 3 distinctly different lives, and when I think about it, it was the community that saved me every time. Everything begins with a personal story. In fact, our lives are just a series of personal stories. My mom, she got tired of my father and moved our family from Fort Wayne, Indiana to Mississippi. When we arrived in Mississippi, my brother and I, we had northern accents, so people thought that we were smart. So they treated us like we were smart, so we were smart. According to Zaretta Hammonds, children grow into the intellectual lives of the people around them. She also said that competence precedes confidence. I found this to be true. I was surrounded by people who did right by people. They didn't even own credit cards. It wasn't until my second life that I found the value in that. I was grateful for growing up on roads that were not paved, climbing fences with barbed wires. My second life began when I was hired to work at a Title I middle school in Temple, Texas. One of the first assignments that I gave my students, I asked them to write a paragraph to introduce themselves to me and their families. I realized that those students could barely write coherently. My mom had already given me a warning. She didn't really want me to move to Texas anyway. You know, sometimes those fears are wrapped in love. She said, "Those kids are going to be bad. Who hires people over the phone anyway?" I realized that children aren't, well, it's partially true. They are good and bad. Or they're neither good nor bad. They just are. When I started to teach those kids and they could barely write, I realized that I needed to do more than just teach them what was in a story. I wanted to teach them how to maneuver in their real life. I wanted to teach them how to change the trajectory of their stories. You see, I had tried to run so fast away from my story that I graduated from college and moved to Texas in the same weekend, searching for what was already there. So I got frustrated like many other educators have gotten frustrated. You start to blame parents. You feel like you don't get the appreciation that's due to you. But I realized that wasn't even me. What jolted me back into my purpose to walk in power, I was giving a student pressure about not having supplies, not being prepared, trying to act like poor people were the only ones who lived beyond their means. I had stacks of supplies, and I asked him, "Why are you coming out prepared?" He said he had begged his dad to buy supplies, and he never did. He cried. He cried. That moved me. I had forgotten who I was. I had forgotten who I was. That struck an chord in me. Salbona means that I see you. It's a South African greeting. I see you. I respect you. You are important to me. And I thought back to the community who had tapped into me and saw the best in me. Sankofa is from the Tree language of Ghana. It means to go back and get it. It means to go to pull from the beginning parts of your story to move to a progressive, to move for progressive change. I'm thankful for those who did that for me. Similarly, there's a Maasai tribe. They greeted each other by saying, "How are the children?" Whether the warriors had children or not, they knew that the well-being of the children lied in the children. So we're going to do a call and response. When I say, "How are the children?" I want you to say, "All the children are well." How are the children? The children are well when we are, and we aren't well. This is the first generation of children that no one wanted to teach. If you want to know what you can do to help children, make sure your children grapple with hard things before they're 18. because people with high emotional intelligence, they're able to know themselves and manage themselves. I struggled in my second life because I feared the transition. I had everything that I needed, but I feared the transition. I could do hard things. You can do hard things. Kids can do hard things, but they got to know who they are. But this is the first generation of children. People call them soft. I call them aware. How are the children? The children are well when we are, and we aren't well.